In a courtroom so tense you could hear a pin drop. Everything changed the moment Cassie spoke. The woman who once stood beside music mogul Diddy as a rising pop star now stood against him, not as an ex-lover, but as a witness to what some are calling one of the darkest secrets in the entertainment industry. Her voice, steady at first, cracked only once. Across from her, Diddy, once a symbol of untouchable wealth and power, sat trembling. Then he screamed. What Cassie revealed didn't just shock the courtroom. It might be the final nail in the coffin of a music empire built on control, fear, and ritualized abuse. Cassie Ventura didn't walk into that courtroom as a victim. She walked in like a witness to war. 8 months pregnant, wearing a gray maternity dress with a high collar. She didn't blink. Her eyes never left the witness stand. She didn't need to remind anyone who she was. She was the one who lit the fuse. The lawsuit she filed months ago cracked open a Pandora's box, one that's now threatening to consume Diddy's legacy, brand, and freedom. But nothing could have prepared anyone for what she was about to say under oath. She didn't call them parties or affairs. She called them rituals. Step by step, Cassie detailed what she described as freakoffs, events Diddy allegedly planned with the precision of a film director. The lights, preset, the music, chosen in advance, the oils, lined up like props on a stage. Even the towels were folded just so. He was always producing, Cassie said, even in the worst moments. It was like he needed control over every second. She described being forced to narrate what was happening, every sound, every movement, every sensation, as Diddy sat and watched. Not just watched, directed. This wasn't impulsive, it was orchestrated, and the courtroom, frozen in disbelief. Cassie's testimony revealed a pattern of deep psychological manipulation. She claimed Diddy would provide her with alcohol, weed, even pills, substances meant to numb her just enough to obey. I knew it was wrong, she said, but I didn't know how to say no to someone who had my entire life in his hands. And when she tried to resist, he'd call me boring, say, if you don't do it, someone else will. Those words echoed in the courtroom like a curse, a reminder that what was happening behind closed doors wasn't just about twisted desire, it was about power. But Cassie wasn't the only one who saw what went on inside those dark rooms. One by one, former assistants, house staff, and even party guests began to testify. They described scenes straight out of a horror film, a woman sobbing in a room alone, stockpiles of baby oil, locked doors, hidden cameras. One assistant said she wasn't allowed to ask questions, just to restock lubricant and oils in bulk. Another claimed she walked in on Cassie crying and whispering, "Please don't tell him I'm crying." But it was Trisha Weller, a guest at one of Diddy's private creative dinners, who turned the courtroom upside down. She testified that within 45 minutes of arriving, she found herself locked in a room with 3 strange men. She was later paid $7,000 through what she claimed was a Diddy-linked shell company. And the most chilling part? She saw Cassie in the hallway afterward, looking away like she'd seen it all before. The prosecution then asked the question everyone feared. Did these sessions ever turn violent? Cassie didn't hesitate. Yes, often. She described being grabbed, shoved, slapped, not in rage, but with cold calculation. Once, after refusing to engage, she claimed Diddy dragged her into the room, slammed the door, and berated her for ruining his night. She fell onto a metal frame. A scar still remains. Prosecutors showed the jury a photo of that scar, taken years ago by a doctor. Another time, she tried to leave mid-session. Diddy blocked the door and slapped her, not out of anger, but like a father scolding a child. "He finished the session without me," she said. "I spent the rest of the night crying in the bathroom." Cassie told the courtroom something that made jaws drop. Those so-called freak-offs? They were productions, There were cameras, some hidden, some obvious, always rolling. Sometimes she'd see little red lights blinking from unknown corners. "He kept everything," she said. "I don't know where the footage went, but I know he kept it." Diddy allegedly had rooms specifically staged for these events, furniture arranged just right, spotlights angled for shadows, scented oils placed with intention. But it didn't stop at staging. According to Cassie, she was often given pills she never identified. One message shown in court revealed her asking a staff member, "What is this?" The reply, "Don't worry about it. Huff says take it." And then came the props, toys, devices, items that required instructions, sometimes training. She recalled one leather-bound contraption that baffled her, until a male escort was brought in to demonstrate it. This wasn't intimacy, this was choreography for control. Then the courtroom was hit with another shock when the male escort, known only as DA, took the stand. Tall, composed, wearing sunglasses, he wasn't there to support Cassie. In fact, his testimony muddied the waters. He claimed Cassie often booked him directly, that she arranged the sessions under fake names, sometimes saying it was for fun, sometimes for her birthday. When asked about the disturbing urination incident Cassie described, DA replied, "She asked me to." But despite his contradictions, DA confirmed the key details. Diddy sat silently, watched, directed. Everything had to be on camera. There were rules, no touching him, no speaking unless spoken to. He also recalled moments of violence. Once he saw Cassie leave a room with a bruised arm and swollen eyes. Another time, Diddy threw her against a wall. "That wasn't a freak-off," DA said. "That was abuse." If Cassie's words were a spark, what came next was a firestorm. Prosecutors played the now infamous 2016 Intercontinental Hotel surveillance footage, and the courtroom fell silent. No commentary, no music, just the raw, brutal moment Diddy stalked Cassie, grabbed her by the head, and slammed her to the floor. Then, as she lay motionless, he came back and kicked her. This wasn't a scuffle. It was an ambush, a cold, calculated assault. As the video played, jurors squirmed. Cassie stared ahead, still. Diddy's leg twitched uncontrollably. A hotel security guard, now an LAPD officer, testified that he intervened that night because Diddy wouldn't let Cassie leave. She was crying. All she kept saying was, "I just want to go." This wasn't just one bad moment. It was part of a pattern prosecutors were now painting with terrifying clarity. Diddy's reputation was built on power, but inside that courtroom, the mask was gone. Gone was the mogul in crisp white suits and designer shades. In his place, a sweating, slouched man scribbling on a legal pad, and outside the courtroom, the empire was crumbling too. His honorary doctorate revoked, his name removed from his alma mater, his key to the city rescinded. One former bad boy artist testified that her career disappeared after she disrespected Puff. Another insider admitted to destroying over 300 hours of video footage at Diddy's command. "He told me, burn it. It's not for the public. It's for God's eyes only," the videographer testified. The phrase left the courtroom shaken. Was it metaphor or something much darker? This trial isn't just about Cassie anymore. With over 100 alleged victims lined up, prosecutors are now exploring whether Diddy's actions could fall under a Rico investigation, the same laws used to take down organized crime. Financial ledgers entered into evidence showed monthly payouts labeled care, silence, and loyalty, ranging from $2,500 to $80,000. Prosecutors argued these were hush payments to keep the machine running. One witness even described elaborate rituals during full moons or Diddy's birthday, complete with incense, tribal chants, and what he called spiritual freak-offs. This wasn't just sex. the prosecutor said. It was power, domination, and maybe even something cult-like. The final moments of the trial were unforgettable. Cassie's team played a chilling 2015 voice memo. Diddy's voice calm but sinister. People think they can leave me. Nobody leaves me. The courtroom was stunned, not just by the words, but by what they represented. This wasn't about fame or fortune or even relationships. This was about a man who allegedly built an empire on fear and manipulation and believed he'd never be held accountable. Now his brand is shattered, his name is toxic, and the legacy he fought to protect, ashes. As the jury deliberates, one question remains. How many others were there? Because if Cassie was the first to speak, she might not be the last.